Hello, my beautiful, lovely friends. Welcome back to the Midlife Mom. I'm so happy that you decided to join me today. I've got my cup of tea. I thought we could have a chat while I do some things in my kitchen. I have to clean out my fridge because today I'm going to do a grocery shop. I've got to pick up some things that I want to start gathering for Christmas. And so I just thought that you and I could just spend some time together, and I've got some updates as well. And so grab yourself a cup of coffee or maybe a nice hot tea, settle in a nice comfy chair, and let's get started. Is there anybody like me? I know that I do these things for a living when I am caring for other seniors and families that I have, and but I feel so bad because I think the housekeeper needs a housekeeper, and things just seem to get away from me. And I thought today is the perfect day because I wanted to chat with all my friends here and just catch up, but I need to get some things done. So here we go. And it's the perfect time because my fridge is, I've used up a lot of stuff, and it's a perfect time to just empty things out, wipe things down, see what I need to pick up and restock, or check some dates on some things and toss. And so hopefully this motivates you. And if not, you can just sit back and enjoy the conversation. So how is everyone doing? We have been doing, of course, a few updates and remodeling. I will add those clips onto the video, so stay tuned and I'll show you what we've actually accomplished and what we're still working on. We're really just trying to get stuff kind of pulled together before Christmas because we want to be able to put our tree up downstairs and have it kind of special. And so it's just been a little bit busy, and everything, seems like it's just like chaos right now. And but we're going to be able to pull it together. My husband assures me it's going to be fine. He's been coming home and working on different things in the evenings, and as his body will allow him to do that. He has a few health struggles, and but he did get a couple cortisone shots in his shoulders, and so that's been really helpful. He's been able to have a renewed surge in what he's able to do again, and of course he loves that. So how is everyone doing? How is it going for you guys? What's going on in your life? Are you doing well? Are you transitioning into this new season? It's November here. We just had Remembrance Day, and I have a few veterans that I care for, and I've had veterans families, and I had a war bride. She's long dead now, but I thought I could just share that really wonderful story about a war bride that I had, and I was able to care for her, and it was really right before she had passed away. I was not with them for a long time, but or with her for a long time with that family, but we just really connected, and she was able to tell me her story. And that's the wonderful thing about my job, is I have a lot of seniors, and I'm in such a unique position because I'm able to listen to their life story, and I ask questions, and sometimes I feel so privileged because oftentimes they feel that they can tell me things that maybe they haven't even shared with their family, things that happened in their life. So anyways, I had this war bride, and so she started telling me bit by bit her story, her life story. And It was really quite amazing. You know, it really gives you a different perspective about what wartime was like, and how she said that she grew up in England and her family lived in England, and in the main part of England. And so she was a teenager, and a young teenager, and she said she remembers going to her school and passing debris, and she said she remembers when the raids came and the sirens would go and they'd all go into the community bomb shelter, and the little kids, she's like, certain things you just never forget, you know, parents holding their child. And she said a lot of the men or whoever it was in there at the time, they would sing and it would distract the kids, and they would try to just make it not as scary. But she said she remembers, you know, going past debris and the cleanup and the sirens and all the different things that she experienced, and then she said that it was etched in her mind. Well, her sister apparently decided, she was a little bit older, and decided, I think she was getting on to be 18, and this young lady was 15 or 16. Well, her sister decided to join the Land Army, and the Land Army was where women were hired, I don't know what you'd call it, but recruited to bring in the crops from the fields. And so anyways, she said they were two city gals, and so she said, like, they had no idea what all this entailed, but her sister was going to do it. And because she was old enough, her parents said, okay, fine. Well, the youngest sister, which was my client, she begged her parents, oh, please, can't I do this for the cause? And my sister's going. So they finally, she was so insistent that she wanted to do this, that it was important to her to do her part, that she joined the Land Army as well. And so they would stay at different areas, and I don't remember exactly what she said, whether they were put up by the farmers or whether they were, you know, based out of a certain area, and they would load up and go to, you know, whatever fields. And she said we had to learn how to operate the equipment. And here we were, a bunch of young women with some gusto. And she said her and her sister were, you know, city gals. So she said we put our hair up in a cute little handkerchief, and she said we always put our lipstick on. But she said, boy, we earned the respect of a lot of the other country gals that were doing these jobs. And she said her and her sister earned the names of Here Comes the Painted Ladies. And she remembered, you know, telling me about nylons. They couldn't get nylons, and that was such a coveted thing. And the restrictions on different items of food that they couldn't have. And anyway, she ended up meeting a Canadian soldier, and they got married. And after the war, they came back and settled with his family in Nova Scotia, I believe. That she said that his family had a farm there. Nova Scotia, I'm pretty sure that's where it was. And she said, wow, what a culture shock, because she was, you know, English. She was raised in a certain proper, you know, even though she had been in the Land Army, but she was raised in a very proper English home with certain, you know, cultural differences than coming and living in, you know, a small town in a farming community. And at that time, she said, she just stuck out like a sore thumb. She said, I did not fit in at all with these women. She's like, I'm not trying to come across as a snob, but they just looked at me like I was, you know, who are you? And she said it was a very, very difficult time in her life when she first moved to Canada, just trying to make friends. And she said there were a lot of lonely years that she just didn't fit in. And so she said her and her husband ended up buying their own farm. They had originally lived with his family, saved money, bought their own farm. And she said, and she started inviting the town ladies over for tea. And she said one thing that she could do, she was an excellent hostess and a wonderful baker. And so she won them over, and she said she made a way in her community. And I was so privileged to hear her story. Another gentleman that I had, and he's probably passed, I went to see him at the nursing home a couple years ago, and he was in his late 90s, and he was from a family here in our area, and he signed up to do the same thing, but in Canada. He joined, the government, I guess, was paying young lads, young, healthy, robust lads, giving them free train fare. They could catch the train out west, and then the farmers and stuff would organize teams, and they would take off the crops for a lot of the men that were gone. They were gone and they weren't home to do these things, so they had to figure out how to go about that. And he said his mother cried. She was so unhappy. He was 15 or 16, I don't know, just in that prime age, where he said, I was gangbusters, ready for adventure. So him and his buddy, psyched themselves up, and away they jumped on this train, had free fare out west, and he said he met a lot of really interesting people, and he had a lot of wonderful stories to share as well, and what it was like. And he said, it was a lot harder for other people, because he said they were so fortunate. He felt that his family, his dad was wise, and they had a farm. And he said, I don't remember ever really feeling that I went without. If my mother couldn't get sugar, she said, my dad had bees. He kept bees, and they always had lots of honey, and so she just learned to adjust, her cooking and baking skills. And he sold a lot of different things. He sold meat to people. He sold the honey. He did different things to provide and care for his family. So this man, this young lad, went out west. He said that he never felt the stringency when he was home on the farm, because his dad had so many other resources and was wise to make sure that they always had what they needed. And he said, but there was a lot of other families when they went to town to the market, and he said that they grew a lot of things. He remembers growing things in the garden, that his parents were such hard workers, and they canned things, and they had a lot of fresh produce, and his dad raised hogs, and just that type of community. And they would sell that to other people that lived in town that didn't have, the resources that his family had. And his family actually took in and boarded different workers, because their mother, that was probably single, the husband was probably off to war, and they were struggling to feed their kids. So he said they had a revolving door of different young people in the community that would come and board with them, and they had a room in the barn, and they would stay all summer and work alongside as a helping hand on the farm. And so just a whole different perspective on what life was like during war times. And let's hope that we never have to experience that again. But you just never know. And so I guess really that we need to learn and glean. And I feel like there's a lot of people that are relearning old skills. Like a lot of people are canning now, which was something that, my mom taught me to do. I mean, I don't want to do it because it's a lot of hard work, but my mom still cans a lot of things. And I know if I had to do it, I could do it. I've done odds and ends, but I really haven't continued to do it. But I know that I could do that if I had to. And but yeah, people just did things. They learned to sew their own clothes, and that was one thing that I always made sure that my kids at least knew how to sew, that they could have the main talents that they would need in life, like sewing and cooking and They all knew how to bake and make pastry, and you know, those are things I think that are really good skills to have, no matter what age you are. So anyways, yeah, I just thought I could share those few things because we did celebrate November 11th, and it is something that we need to always remember, the people that sacrificed so much, men, women, and like children that lost their families, or their fathers returned home and they were not the same. My husband's grandfather was a pilot, and he never talked about it. When he came home, my husband said his grandmother just always said he wasn't the same person that when he left, and how could they be? The things that they saw and experienced and lived through, we will never comprehend that, and hopefully we will never have to. So what a wonderful thing to be thankful for, and remember all the things that people did so that we could have this free life in Canada. And wherever you're from, I'm sure even in other countries, you remember people that have went before us and paved the way. So what are you guys up to? Are you taking care of yourself? I'm making lists for Christmas. I've made some lists, I've made decisions. I've already started purchasing a few things for my clients for Christmas, and I'm going to, in the next week or two, I'm going to get some greenery. I'm going to start making my greenery for outside my door before it gets too crazy cold, and so I'll try to get a few clips of that, and making an arrangement. And I'm going to today go in, do some shopping. I have to get my groceries, and I want to start picking up odds and ends for Christmas. I'm doing some nuts and bolts. I've been looking at different recipes, and I want to do like little gift baskets for all my clients. And I'm going to make homemade nuts and bolts and put like cashews and just different things in it to make it delicious and a nice tasty snack that they can enjoy themselves, or they can put it out in a fancy dish so that they can share it when family comes. I usually tried to do baking, so I'm not sure if I'm going to get any baking done this year, but I do want to make something homemade, and then I'll put a few other items in the gift packs. And so I'll bring you guys along and share some of those moments as I put things together. We did have the grandkids over Friday evening. I babysat, so we had some fun. And then on Sunday, we are doing a family picture. So my husband and I are so blessed because our granddaughter had this photo shoot. It's already paid for, and the lady said you can have up to 8 people. So she was like, that's perfect. We can invite grandma and grandpa, and because we wanted to have a beautiful picture taken with the granddaughters. And wouldn't that be something that you would love to have, and such a wonderful memory for this time of the year? So we're going to be doing that on Sunday, and then after that we're going to the Santa Claus parade. So I'll try to include some clips from that, maybe for the next week's blog. I'm so thankful that you guys are here today, and that you are still sharing on my journey. Even though it's not super fabulous, it's semi-fabulous because it's just me doing my thing and starting to just get ready for Christmas. Wrap my mind around another season because things are going so quickly, and trying to encourage people along the way, because we all need to grab somebody's hand and pull them along with us. Tell them, okay, get out of bed, put your clothes on and keep going, girl. And I mean, how many times I have to push myself, especially during the winter seasons, because I just love to hibernate. I don't really want to have to go to work. And leave my nice cozy house. There's so many times that I get up and I sit in my comfy chair and I wrap my fuzzy blanket around me and I drink my tea and I think I could just take today off. Wouldn't that be wonderful? And I think all about, oh, taking the day off. I could just sit here and look out the window and just have some quiet time. But then I think, okay, I have commitments. I have people to take care of that are depending on me, and I need to get myself pulled together and get dressed and get out that door. So I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope that you are planning ahead for Christmas so that you don't get stressed out, or maybe you're one of the people that doesn't enjoy Christmas because it brings back a lot of painful memories. You know, I think we all have bits of that, and I'm choosing joy this Christmas. I could look at all the things in my life that aren't going that great right now, that aren't that wonderful, but I'm choosing joy. I'm choosing to live. I'm choosing to find happiness again. And I hope that you are too. Whatever that looks like for you, choose joy, choose happiness, do little things that are gonna bring joy to you, or maybe bring joy to somebody else. And that's why I push myself to do nice things for my clients, because it brings me joy to make them happy. And isn't that really what Christmas is about? Sometimes we get caught up in how we feel, we're sad, we're this, we're that. But if we're focusing on, you know, doing something kind or nice for someone else, isn't that really what Christmas is about? Is blessing others. It's not just about me. It's about doing something kind for someone else. And that in turn gives you joy because you feel good about it. You feel good. And that builds us up. And we need to be built up. And we need to find things to do that build us up. So I just want to thank you for coming along today. As I'm going to finish my fridge, I'm just going to wipe everything out and go through the rest of my jars and put everything back in. But I will include some clips that I've taken about the projects that we're working on and keep you guys updated. And I will see you next time. So you take care, and remember that I am thinking about you and I am praying for you. And I hope that you will come back again soon. And bye-bye for now.